We're 2 minutes late. I'm pissed. I quit.
I was also laughing. Alex being like, Brad. I'm like, motherfucker, I have my dick in my hand. I am peeing. I will be right there.
Guys. I fucking told you guys.
Say it. He did.
And welcome to session 5 of our open beta playthrough of Daggerheart by Darrington Press. Go to deadsunsco.com for announcements and other projects. Patreon.com/deadsunscompany to consider supporting us if you enjoy us heckling each other as we introduce the game.
That's where you start?
I normally notice you hit record. I did not notice it this time.
He's been recording since
the whole time.
He's been recording since before we told him he was on his Wi-Fi.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing.
I started recording the minute Brad joined.
I'm a dum-dum and didn't have my internet plugged in properly, so here we are. But after last session, I asked the group to level up twice. So Gerard will now be level 4 and everyone else is at level 3. Everyone gains some new domain cards and has some new abilities and bonuses from their class package. I'm going to go one by one through you. If you want to share anything that you updated on your character for your new levels, go for it. If there's some stuff you want to keep close to the vest for surprises later, I think that's cool too. Let's do it. Gerard.
Yeah. So I gained another... Wait, did I gain an armor slot? No, my armor increased, so that's pretty dope. And
Sucks for me.
Yeah, my severe threshold went up. I think I gained a stress slot. And I took a couple domain cards that... Let me see. I might need to change that one. Yeah, basically, I'm. It's gonna suck for you trying to damage me more. So,
Fair enough.
It's pretty much what I'm leaning into.
Hey, if you're gonna change your domain cards, change them. But if you use them during a session, it's canon, so you can't change it if you use them.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at them right now because I took scramble, which is kind of not really in my character's, like, not really what he would do, I guess. But
okay, it's not what my character would do.
I know, but I think what's going to cook me is the stress, because I'm looking at, like, I don't think you're going to deal damage, but at some point I'm going to have stress that's going to start hurting me. So I think that's what I'm looking at now.
I really like the stress mechanic as I think about it more. It's going to be the only way to damage some of you, Gerard.
Yeah, so I got to watch that. So that's where my thinking was with scramble, and then the other one increased my armor. So
okay, Oxley.
All right, for level 2, I took the buff up 2 traits for 1, and then the increase my minor damage threshold by 1. For the domain, I took strategic approach, and what else? For level 3, again with the 2. Okay, so the first 2 traits were agility and instinct, and then for the second 2, both of those went into knowledge. My other...
You can't do that. You can't put them both into knowledge.
You can't?
No.
Okay.
It says unmarked. Yeah.
After
you upgrade one of them,
it's
one of them
then marks
it.
Yep. I see. Okay. But I'm not going to do that, so I guess I'll keep that close to the chest for the moment. And I'll add a stress slot, though, for one of them.
Thank God for Eric, because I honestly didn't even realize that was a thing.
Nope.
If I could have done that, I would have done that.
You min-max? No.
And then there's Alex talking to himself on mute. That's fine.
I think once you get to level 5, you can take those checks off, and then you can do it again, but you can only do it once for each.
Yep.
So if you put it into strength, you can only do it once for those levels, and then you have to wait till you get to the next set to do it again.
Got it.
Yep, it resets at 5 and 8.
Okay.
My chair squeaking is loud enough that I need the mic muted.
Shut up, Alex. Ripley.
I took point in evasion. I took extra stress. I gave myself the experience Tiny Infiltrator.
Okay.
And then I marked up my finesse and presence. And the two abilities that I took were Troublemaker and Hypnotic Shimmer.
Ooh. Dangerous. Kai, what do you got?
I took 2 of the 2 unmarked character traits, one to add a stress and 1 to your evasion. And then I took my experience as Drinker, and I added the 2 domain cards of Strategic Approach and Ferocity. I took 2 of the level 2 ones because I didn't like the level 3 ones.
Cool. Nero. Caneromyces.
Thanks to Eric in the group chat, I rushed over here to change my leveling up from after last session. And I leveled up from level 1 to level 3. And in my level 2 to level 4 column, I selected to permanently add a stress slot. I elected to increase 2 of my experiences by 1, which I increased Lone Wolf from a +1 to a +2, and Overly Cautious to a +2. So I am now an overly cautious lone wolf who is a shepherd of death. Make it make sense.
Loaf.
Praise the loaf.
Praise the loaf.
For my last 2...
That's got to be a t-shirt, by the way.
It's got to be a shirt.
Praise the loaf.
It's going to have to be.
Come on. It's so good.
For my last 2 things, what I did was I took the increase 2 unmarked character traits by +1 and marked them. Originally, I'd taken that once and added an armor slot, but after Eric educated me on how, number 1, none of us knew what we were talking about after last session when I asked questions on this, and number 2, how to do it right, I instead elected to increase strength to a +1, instinct to a +3, presence to a +0, and knowledge to a +1. So I have no negatives left.
Well done.
And then I took a level 2 and a level 3 spell that will manifest when they show up, rather than running everyone through them now.
Hell yeah. Also, to any GM out there who doesn't like their players rules lawyering them, fuck you. Eric's awesome.
Get an Eric.
Get an Eric.
Hey, I rule lawyers myself too.
I know. It's great.
You are the neutral arbitrator of all games we run.
Yeah. The real game master. All right. Here we go. Last time in Erisset, Sir Gerard Graves was elevated to knighthood, and a feast was thrown in the Great Hall. Each of our party chose their feasting meal, each with a flavor unique to their heritage. The group of knights and retinue that form the lance of Lady Estona Sil-Atanri entered the hall to sit at the head table. Sir Gallant Cleaveheart, a dwarven knight captain, Bertrand the Bold, a square-jawed human knight, Effervescent Fizz, a thin and colorful clank mage, and Dove Akeen, a Dracona known for her culinary and skullduggery skills, and definitely does not have anything to do with Skyrim at all. As the feast came to a close, Lady Estona took our heroes aside to give them their first assignment. She and her lance, a lance being a group of knights, if you were not aware, had been called away to deal with a disturbance, a disturbing rumor of new portals to other realms opening near the border of Galilee, not Galilee, or whatever the hell I said last time. Sir Gerard and his newly formed retinue were given a task of overseeing the stronghold of Eventide. Upon accepting, Estona also confided that she and her followers have been secretly trying to deal with an uninvited intruder or intruders being spotted within the stronghold. She wasn't sure who, how, or why these intruders were here, and had so far been unable to capture them. As Estona and her retinue leaves in the night, our nightly party began a long rest, while they took turns on watches to patrol the stronghold. While Kai, Ripley, and Nero headed to catch some winks, Gerard and Ox started the night by patrolling. Ox, you had chosen to begin in the towers on your usual cleaning route, and had rolled an 11 with hope. Think you'd go clockwise, counterclockwise? Also, to give a little more context on kind of the layout of the structure, because I realized the last time I was being really vague. I know I said I wasn't going to put any maps in for this game, but I did put a kind of just general layout of the Eventide stronghold, so you can see the shape and like how big it is, because I think I was being maybe a little too vague with how big it is. The outer wall area is pretty much a town broken into multiple sections. The inner sanctum is a keep with a great hall, barracks, kitchens, and all that. That large structure on the north is the actual keep. So you have a little bit better idea of what you're looking at here.
Love it.
I'm thinking counterclockwise. Or start. Okay. You said the keep's up where?
It's that north? Big teal building on the north, yeah.
Yeah, then I think I'd just start counterclockwise.
Sure.
Since we haven't taken any action so far, evidently I leveled up right after our session, and I think my brain did a dumb. So I took Scramble. I'm going to take Lean on Me instead.
Okay. I thought that was the one you took anyway from our conversation. I think you just wrote down the wrong one.
I was going to say, I think after the session...
Because I was looking at it and I was like, why would I do that?
We had a whole conversation about those two, and you brought up those two exact things. And I think a week ago, you basically said Scramble makes no sense.
Yeah. So, cool.
So you're going to go counterclockwise, starting in that area up there. I also... we can get to it at some point here, but I also did a... little stronghold main areas journal entry to say kind of the general regions that are in the inner and outer walls in case you wanted a reference point. All right, so Ox, you're keeping your eyes out for anything in specific as you make your rounds?
Besides litter? No.
Okay. So
ultimate villain of this campaign.
You make your way through the rooms of the towers, and you're kind of eyeballing the people who are there, the guards, the soldiers. I don't know if you would stop to talk to them or not, to kind of get a lay of the land. You're peering out into hallways and out through windows, trying to see anything out of order as night starts to settle in. You kind of start... Do you want to start on the inner or outer walls? I know Gerard was planning to go the outer wall, so I don't know if you were trying to divide and conquer.
Then I would have done the opposite, I think.
Okay.
We'll go the inner.
You work your way through the keep first, and then go tower to tower, starting at the top of the towers and working your way down each one in a counterclockwise fashion. So north, then west, then south, then east. When you get to the south tower, you start to make your way through some of the barracks. And as you're making your way through the barracks, you notice that there's a group of recruits kind of giggling and playing in the mess hall after hours. They're not really supposed to be out of quarters at this point.
Is there
Filch looking ass?
I heard Carl snort, and I knew that our brains went to the exact same line.
I guess I'd like to just quietly observe, see what these what the nature of the grabassery is.
All right.
Is Mrs. Norris nearby?
Yes,
no.
Absolutely.
Totally. I would like to change into a black cat and accompany Ox.
Are you listening, or are you going to try and get eyes on them?
Okay, I guess I was looking at them already from a distance, so I can only hear them.
You hear them right now. Yeah, they're out in the mess hall. You're in a hall within the kitchens area.
Okay, I guess I would like to try and, if I can get eyes on, sure, but at least eavesdrop for sure.
You can eavesdrop without taking any kind of action. If you wanted to try and sneak up on them, I would want you to make a finesse check.
Okay. Oh, that sucks. But we're gonna do it. We'll give it a shot. So that is a 9 with hope.
As you're creeping forward to try and get eyes on, you hear a few sentences before you get up to get eyes on. There's roughly 3 or 4 of them out there. One of them is laughing at another one, and the first intelligible words you actually hear are something like, "Yeah, he was really ugly, wasn't he? Had scars all over. What was he even doing here?" And the other one goes, "Who fucking cares? He gave us coins." And then you turn the corner and lock eyes with one of them immediately as you turn. And they go, "Shit, it's the janitor." And they scramble.
Oh, you little shit stains. And I'm going to pursue.
Okay. They scramble, splitting in two different directions. The one that locked eyes with you bolted first and went straight across with a smaller figure shooting right behind them. The other two kind of bolt off to your right toward the training yards. One of them drops a coin of some kind on the ground behind them as they flee.
Okay. Can I stoop to pick that coin up as I chase after these, I guess, the slower of the two?
Mm-hmm. You can stoop to pick it up now. If you do, it's very likely you're not going to be able to catch them, though. They're pretty quick.
Okay, fuck that coin. I'm going after the slower of the two groups, whichever that was.
Okay, so the one that went off to the right left last, so they're going to be the most likely that you're going to be able to catch. I need you to give me a agility check, please.
Watch your head going in and out of those doors, man.
Careful. It's dark.
Oh man. So this is that's a 10 with fear. Oh boy.
We'll see if this is like Warhammer. Yep. You twist your ankle and die.
Yeah.
Snaps right off. You're infected.
Make sure you gave yourself hope for that first hope you rolled too. All right. As you bolt after them, they run off into a side corridor of the barracks, which is the building you just came out of, but they went back into a hallway through a different door than you exited from. You recognize that door is probably the closest one to the tower that goes up to the recruit beds. You're pretty sure you're not going to be able to keep up with them at this point. They are sprinting upstairs. You're slowly getting further and further away from you as you're huffing your way up the stairs, kind of slowly getting out of breath.
Based on my filch level of understanding of this building, do I perceive there to be a way that I could cut them off? Or not?
There is definitely a chance that you would know that. Do you have any experiences that might help you on a check if I throw you one? If I was going for a knowledge check here?
No.
Okay. I would say you have like a pretty good chance. You have an average chance of having to know that. So I would need you to hit a 15 or higher on a knowledge check.
Yeah, that's probably not. Well, let's give it a shot.
Good.
All right. That is not happening. So that is a 2 3s.
That's critical.
Oh, well, I mean.
So regardless, it's a critical. So you get what you want. So you absolutely know a shortcut on the third floor when you get to it. If you cut over through a janitor's closet that actually has 2 entryways, it cuts the time by a quarter. So you duck your way out on the third floor as you're starting to huff and puff. Fucking kids. And you just make your way off, cut to the left through a closet that is locked, but you have the key. And pop in, take an L-shaped turn out the other side. And then there's actually a switchback ramp that goes up instead of stairs at this part of the castle. So you make your way up, and you actually land in the hallway right as they break through the stairway door and run toward their bedroom. They don't see you yet.
All right. Do I get the sense of which of those fools is the ringleader?
Not yet. They're both about the same size. Neither one of them's really leading. They look like they're just kind of tripping over each other, trying to get into the door. They're obviously roommates.
Well, I'm going to try and cut them off so that they run face first into me, and I want to cause the most shock and kinetic awe as possible when I step out.
All right. Hit me with that presence with advantage.
Presence.
Let's go.
Okay. Hell yeah. So that's a 21 with hope.
Hell yeah. Give yourself a hope. That's a really good roll. So they're at the one end of the hallway. They don't see you yet. It's dark. You've kind of already moved your way halfway up the hallway, and you see they're running your direction, trying to go in one of the doors, probably behind you. Did you want to like hold still? Did you want to step out? Did you want to just like clothesline them from a hidden vantage?
I think I want to step out with just enough room to grab them both by their scruffs and let their momentum clack around like one of those ball knocker toys.
Sure. Yeah, you step out, you grab them by their scruffs, and just you hear their noggins click together, and they kind of reel back against your arms as you're holding them. Shit!
I'm gonna give them a nice shake.
Oh,
Why were you running?
Well, I didn't want to give you these. Kind of opens one palm, and he's got a smattering, like a handful of gold coins in his hand.
I want to start searching them.
Okay.
I'll take those coins aside, but then I want to start searching them. I don't believe these kids.
Okay. You grab the coins. Give yourself a handful of gold.
All right.
As you are searching them, you find one of them has an old rusted dagger that they're probably not supposed to have. They're recruit level. They're not even initiates yet. And you notice that one of the other child that didn't have the gold coins is a human boy. He has what looks like a silver pendant with a green gem in the center of it hanging around his neck. Other than that, it's just clothes.
Okay. Well, you know the drill. What are your names?
My name is Fuck You, sir, says the one with the gold, silver pendant.
Oh.
The other one is a Furbolg child, and he says his name is Melbourne.
Well then, Melbourne, and I'm going to turn him around and set him up against the wall on his knees in kind of a stress position. And then I'm going to turn back around to the issuer of the fuck you, and what would Ox know to be the faculty's guidance on assaulting a student?
You're not really supposed to, but
okay.
You know, from a previous game, Kyle maybe should have, so I guess we should consider that too.
Not supposed to. No, I understand.
There's nothing stopping you putting them in the dungeons, though.
You're right. So I'm gonna stand up to my full height and just kind of big stretch, and then drop them from whatever that height is. And as I drop him, well, I guess what happens to him first?
He falls, and he kind of tries to catch himself on a leg and just ends up missing entirely and falls on his butt instead. Because ow!
Oh, I'm so sorry. All this sweat from this running.
These aren't like 8-year-old kids. These are like 12-year-old kids. So they're
but I'm dropping them from
growing.
like a height of like plus 10 feet.
I know.
Okay. and I'm gonna just scoop him back up, making like I'm to pick him up, and I'm gonna do it again until he's dinged up a little bit, and it's just it's butterfingers. And then once he's dinged up enough, I'm gonna collect the 2, and we're going to the dungeons.
All right. After you drop him the second time, he's like, "Name's Kyle. Jeez." So Melbourne and Kyle.
Got it.
Of course, it's Kyle.
Freshly chugged monster in hand. Thought a fuck you would do him some good.
Just came back from the Guinness World Records converging of the Kyles.
Are you confiscating that pendant, or are you leaving that? It's
I was
unclear whether it's
planning-
actually his or not. So
I didn't want to hear him whine. I was planning on doing it as I threw him into the jail cell.
got it. All right. So as you kind of wend your way back down through, this kind of interrupts your patrol route halfway through, basically. To take him to the dungeons, you're going to have to go down into the basement. The dungeons are basically below the central yard.
Okay.
So while you're doing that, Gerard, would you
Yes?
have made your way around clockwise or counterclockwise? The outer
Clockwise.
wall. All right, and just to remind you, you did opt to kind of walk the outer wall and kind of check in at each tower with the guards and kind of get the lay of the land at each one.
And as I do, I'll be doing some inspections to make sure they are clothed properly and doing their duties.
All right. And you say clockwise? So you're actually
Sure.
going to start at the keep and make your
Whatever's going to let me find what you want me to see sooner.
way. I don't want you to see anything. I want it to
I'm
be
just-
a mystery.
I'm just kidding. Clockwise works.
Okay. So you're going to start walking the wall over the Eventide Gardens. Off to your right, the moon is glowing over the trees. The 2 large grassy hills are rippling in the moonlight with the grasses that cover them. You can see down below the gardening shed, which is actually kind of about the size of a house, and the groundskeeper lives there. You see the shimmer of the large pond at the center of the gardens, and the stone staircase you assume is from some ruins from long ago. It doesn't really go anywhere; it just kind of winds up next to the pond and sits there. You also see the overgrown floral paths and the small labyrinth from above that rests in the garden area. It's a beautiful sight. It's a wonderful place to walk through during the day. Beyond, you see the lights of the Eastern Village. A lot of people live there, a lot of tradesmen, a lot of citizens who are just seeking refuge here. And the lights are kind of starting to flicker out as people are going to bed. At the first tower, though, you come across 2 of the guards, and you know that one is posted up higher in the tower on actual watch. The other 2 are kind of patrolling the walls where you are. One stops and gives a rough salute. Sir, is kind of like a cone-shaped helmet on.
Anything of interest tonight?
Oh, all pretty quiet so far.
Shoulders back, chin up,
uh,
speak up.
Sir, pretty quiet so far, sir. Nothing to report. Sir?
We've been entrusted to keep the keep safe. I want each of you.
This isn't my thing, man.
All of you need to be on your best behavior. I don't want any problems at the keep tonight.
Sir, yes, sir. Do you see the other one, like, probably a good 50 feet away from you, also kind of, like, looked up and looked around and, like, stood up, waiting for you to pass, and is saluting already?
I'll respectfully salute back, I suppose.
And these guys are just soldiers, right? They're guards on the wall. They probably do this every night. You can tell they're used to it, but
I just don't want them up here grab assing. I'm supposed to be on watch.
they will, no matter what you do. But
I know.
All right. So you make your way down the wall further. Coming up on the second tower, if you look off to the left, you can see the moon kind of bouncing off of the cloud sea off to the left, to the east. You come to the second tower, you pass a third guard who's on patrol. He salutes a little more rigidly than the other ones did. I think he must have heard you yelling.
The whole tower heard me.
Again, not a whole lot to report. Making your way to the third tower, you now look down to your right and can see the village, and you also see the smaller area of town where the river kind of runs, a stream wends through, called Mill Run. You see the mill wheel turning as the water flows toward the Sea of Clouds. You see a small group of guards down in the streets below of Mill Run, and they're confronting somebody in a cloak down below. Can't really tell what's going on. Torch is held high. They seem to be nodding and going, and they are holding their spears, but they're not holding them threateningly or anything like that. But that's way down below. So what do you want to do? Continue your route, or are you going to try and find a way down?
How many guards are surrounding him?
Just 3. Typical group of 3.
And obviously too far to hear anything.
Quite a bit too far, yeah.
Do I know pretty well if I continue on? Can I still see him from that 4th tower? I should be able to kind of have a pretty good idea.
Have a pretty good view from the 3rd to the 4th tower. You should be good.
I'm gonna walk.
This confrontation's happening on very close to the bridge over the stream.
Oh, I got you right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna continue walking on the wall, and I'm gonna keep peeking down there to see if the mood changes at all.
All right. You make your way from the 3rd tower to the 4th, crossing over the stream. You see the grates below kind of making the water rush out of the fortress itself. It's one of the few places that is actually not a solid wall at the base. You get about halfway to the 4th tower as you glance back. I need you to roll me an instinct check, please.
Oops. Oh, that's a 23 with hope.
Give yourself a hope.
Dang.
A 12 and an 11. That's pretty.
That's a heck of a roll.
As you look down, the guards are starting to relax their weapon stance a little bit as one of them kind of just leans over on his spear. You notice the cloaked figure is holding out a sheaf of paper in front of him. But you also see you see him shifting in a way that the guards can't see his second hand. He's reaching behind.
All right. What do I figure is the fastest I could get down there?
At least 5 minutes.
Okay, and from where I'm standing, I'm to understand they're by this bridge right here.
Yep.
And I'm like right here.
Yep. But you're like 30 feet up, unless you have a way to jump down off this wall from 30 feet up without...
No. I'm just going to shout. I'm just going to shout down.
Okay. Give me that presence.
All right. Yeah,
Any
and I'm
experiences?
Going...
You got a lot of hope there, guy. You can use it. You guys are all hoarding your hope. Stop it.
I'm not.
You don't have any hope.
Well,
you're hopeless.
I have bold presence. I don't know that he's a hostile to me yet. But whenever I make a presence roll against a hostile target, I can also add my strength trait to the roll.
I would let you add that because you, at this point, seeing what you see, perceive him as hostile, regardless of what he is.
I'm just going to shout down.
You in the cloak! Put your hands up!
And then to my guards as they look up, I'm just going to watch his hands, basically.
Okay, so what was the total of that roll?
That was 23, and I got to roll another one, don't I? No, yeah, because that was my instinct. Now I got to roll a presence.
Yep. Did you roll presence yet?
I did not roll presence. I
So
rolled
presence
instinct.
and then add your experience and then spend one of your hope to add that experience.
Oh. All right, so that bold presence is one of my domain cards.
Oh, if you didn't spend an actual experience, then just use your
I will
domain.
spend an experience though too to do I shall protect and add a +2, so I'll take a hope from that. I rolled a 14, but it's with fear.
Okay, what's the total?
14. Oh,
with all
sorry,
of your experiences
14
and stuff too.
Plus 17 plus 19 with fear.
Okay, 19 with fear.
First night on the job, and I got to deal with this.
As you shout, and you did roll with fear, and I will tell you, you did not pass the roll. You see as the guard's faces snap towards you, but the cloaked figure's face does not. And as they turn and are distracted by your shout, the cloak ripples out, and you see 3 shining metallic objects shoot toward the guards and pierce them in the necks as all 3 of them simultaneously fall dead. And the cloaked figure bolts into town across the bridge. What would you like to do?
I'm going to shout to the guards at the 3rd tower as loud as I can. I guess.
Guards, watch the cloaked man. See where he goes.
And then I'm going to do my best to start rushing towards that 3rd tower to get down, even though it's... Actually, I'm going to stay on the wall for now because I have a better vantage point from here, I guess. Okay. Once I go into that tower, I'm going to lose sight. So I'm going to try to pursue from the wall, and every time I pass a guard, I'm going to watch him, so we can have more eyes on him.
Okay. As you shout to the other guards, one of them looks the completely wrong direction. However, one of them who you just passed and had a nice little chat with, who looked really astute, was already honed in, has his bow pulled out, and is trying to get an aim at him. I don't have a shot! Hey, you down there! Stop him! Stop the cloaked man! There's villagers below, but hearing him shout, most of them scramble away or into hiding. The cloaked figure moves. Roll me an instinct reaction. This won't be hope or fear. I just need to know if you can keep track of him or not.
17.
Okay. As he darts through the buildings, you think you're tracking him, and as he dodges behind... Yep.
I probably ruined this, I guess, but I was supposed to add my presence to the roll too, right?
The first one.
It would have been a 21. I don't know if that made a difference, but...
It did, but...
Learn how to play the game. I got it. We'll go with it.
That's where we're at. All right.
What could have been?
Yeah, I'm trying to think through this for a second.
It's okay.
All right. So you lose track of him behind one of the buildings. The guard's saying he doesn't have a shot. As you're like trying to track where he would come out the other side, he doesn't appear again. You glance around, you look around. He doesn't show up. Most you could tell he was heading north.
All right. I'm just going to keep shouting every time I get close to guards.
The guards on the wall at this point are blowing horns and sounding an internal sound of alarm.
Mm-hmm. I guess with the guards searching, I'm going to go down and investigate the scene.
Okay. Oxley, you get down into the dungeons and you collect the pendant from Kyle. Melbourne is crying at this point. Not the dungeons, sir. I'm so sorry. Not the dungeons. It's just a bit of gold.
What was Kyle's reaction when I snatched the pendant?
He starts to say something. Hey, that's mine.
No doubt purchased with your illicit drug monies while prowling my halls.
No. Me nan gave it to me, actually, but fuck off all the same.
Yeah, I slammed the door in his face.
It kind of brushes him back a little bit, like he took him by surprise. The desk sergeant of the dungeon watched you come in, and now as you come back out, he is a Galapa. And he's just kind of sitting there chuckling to himself. Got another one, eh?
Found these fuckers in the mess hall.
All right. What's the names? He takes out his pen.
Got a Melbourne,
Mm-hmm.
and a Kyle.
Any belongings to report? And he kind of points at the little chest on his desk where he keeps the belongings of people who are imprisoned.
Yes. We'll do the both the pendant and the dagger.
Okay. One pendant belonging to Kyle, and one dagger belonging to Melbourne.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Anything else I can do for you, Master Oxley?
Nope, that's it.
Congratulations on joining a knightly retinue, by the way. I heard all about it. Beautiful feast. I wasn't invited. He kind of looks at you, but I never am.
I completely gloss over his awkwardness about not being invited and just remain puffed to the max the mention of my...
He has little rectangular spectacles that look way too small for his squinted eyes. You can tell he's been down in the dark way too long.
I would like to see what else is on his desk.
All right. He has his logbook that he has open and he's writing in. He also has his chest of goods that has multiple drawers that kind of layers the chest. Right now it's kind of open to the third layer, meaning there's 2 drawers underneath it that have stuff in it that you can't currently see. Other than that, he keeps his desk pretty tidy. He has one of those, ironically, same click-clacky things like what you were talking about earlier, sitting on his desk. It kind of bounces the metal ball back and forth, and it is currently kind of keeping time, almost like a metronome. And he has a folded up cloak just sitting on his desk as well. Other than that, not a whole lot.
Okay. Curious.
As you exit or start to come up out of the dungeons, you hear somewhere out in the night the sounds of alarm, of an internal alarm. There's different patterns of horn blows for internal versus external threats. That is the internal alarm.
Ooh. Is this like a generalized alarm throughout the city, or is it something where I would...
It means someone was spotted doing something they're not supposed to be doing in the town streets.
Okay.
Not the inner sanctum, the town.
All right. I guess without knowing a direction, I'll just start heading towards an access to those inner streets to start searching.
Ripley, Nero, Kai, you are in your quarters. Each of you have your own quarters, but you startle awake at the sound of a horn blowing. Kai, what do you do?
Roll out of bed and faceplant.
Just not a hope or fear, but in reaction, roll me just a instinct or something. I just want to see if you're hungover right now or not.
That's 2 7s.
So I went to bed like 20 minutes ago.
You don't
16.
You don't faceplant. You're about to faceplant and you go into like a kung fu artist finger push-up.
I do a few push-ups and then get up.
Well, that is
Also, based on the thing I was looking at, when you roll critical, you're supposed to mark off a stress. You clear stress. I mean,
I think you also gain hope if you were going to gain a hope also.
You gain a hope, but I'm already at max hope.
Fair enough.
And then you clear stress as well.
Yep. So who else rolled a critical earlier?
I did.
Yeah, Ox did.
Take a stress off and add a hope if you didn't.
So did we get the benefit of any rest at all except for our short rest?
Not yet.
Oh, this is going to be great.
You can choose to stay in your room if you want to continue resting. That's completely up to you. But the sound of internal alarm is going off outside.
No, we made a pact. I'm supposed to check the sewers.
Kai's gonna go start wandering off to check something.
As you go to wander off, I might look at you both and go, perhaps.
Why are you in my room?
I look at you and I go,
go sleep in his room?
No, even better. I look at you, Kai, and I go, Master Kai, and I'm getting out of my bed, and you're on my floor.
Yeah.
This is my room.
Wait, he rolled out of the bed onto the floor. Were you two?
Don't worry about it.
The big spoon.
I don't keep the hearth very hot in my room, okay?
Is that innuendo?
Those beer goggles really got going last night, eh, Kai?
Hey, gotta put some goggles on.
I'll wander out into the hallway with Kai and wait see if Ripley comes out, but
Yeah, you see Ripley hopping out, like backwards out of his door, putting his boots on and putting his vest back on. He's like, "What's going on, man?"
I'm not sure, but I think we should stay together.
Some alarms going off out in the city. Might as well go check it out.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Well, lead on.
As you stumble out of the dormitory area, the barracks, you get out into the yard to head toward I guess you wouldn't even go to the yard at this point. You'd probably go to the southern gate once you get outside and start to hear which direction it's coming from. There's a door that goes through the southern inner sanctum tower out into the village itself. You see Oxley coming up out of the dungeons and slamming the door behind himself.
Master Ox.
Yeah.
What? What?
I'd puff up again. Just got done arresting a couple of drug dealers.
I'm looking around for Gerard. Where's Tits? Do I see him? Do I?
I was waiting for Ox to answer us.
Oh, you were asking me?
I was just asking. Yeah.
Oh, he went that way, and I'm going to point the opposite direction to the way I was patrolling.
All right, I'm going to go that way.
I'm going to follow.
All right. You guys head through that southern door out of the inner sanctum and onto the village streets and look around. You can clearly hear off to your left at this point, to the east, the horns blaring out.
I bet they can probably hear me too.
Would you be shouting at this point, Gerard? Or are you like just yelling as loud as you can?
I'm shouting directions.
Citizens in the houses, guards, find the cloaked man. He ran north. Stop staring at me, ass eyes.
Do I hear this?
Yes, you all hear it like echoing through the streets in between the horn blasts. Like
I would like Ripley. How big are you again?
I'm little. I'm 9.5 inches without my shoes on.
I look at you, Ripley, and I say, Master Ripley.
Guys, don't call me master. That's weird.
Mr. Ripley, would you perhaps join me on this endeavor? And I'm going to mark a stress. I'm going to use my animal form, and I'm going to turn into an owl so that I can fly.
Shit.
You're going to ride an owl, Ripley?
And if Ripley's small enough, I would like to grab him and go pelting north to go look for this
I'm going to ride on your back majestic like,
perfectly
dude.
fine.
Don't grab him with them talons.
While they're doing that, Kai wants to grab one of the people that's around and see if they've ask him if he knows they know anything about this cloaked person that Gerard is yelling about.
The people that you pass in the street are hearing Gerard, and they're kind of like fleeing away from where Gerard is. You can't quite see Gerard yet, but they're kind of running away and tucking into houses. You're supposed to get inside. You're supposed to get inside. The knight said to get inside. So they're kind of brushing past you right now. Roll me a presence, actually, if you want to try and interrupt their flow of fear.
And will he?
I'm actually going to not looking for. I don't want to look for anyone who has fear. I'm looking for someone who's like seems to be less panicky about what's going on.
Okay.
Just to get gauge on who might actually be able to observe something. And I'm gonna actually try to use bounty hunter, my experience, to try to find someone that might actually have any idea of what's going on.
I will allow either presence or instinct if that's your goal.
I'll do instinct then.
Well, he's doing that to explain the intent of the owl. The owl has the trait of bird's eye view, so I can fly at will, and when I'm flying, I can look and gain new, useful information.
Oh.
So Ripley on my back, my whole goal is to literally fly, listen to Gerard, know that this guy is going north in a cloak, and find someone in a cloak riding north, and cowabunga Ripley in a dive bomb straight at him.
Fuck yeah. Come back to that in a second.
Okay. Just making sure you understand where we're going with this.
Yep.
16 with hope.
With hope. So gain hope.
I did.
Looking around, you do see a group of guards coming up from the actual southern gate. And you also see one guard that's kind of drifting along, ushering people away from where Gerard is clearly shouting from. You could approach either the ones coming from the south who look a little bit less like they don't seem to know what's going on. The one ushering seems to know.
I'd go to the one ushering then.
Okay. He is actually a Daemon soldier. He's wearing the typical tabard of a soldier of the Eventide. He's holding a halberd. He's kind of ushering people with the halberd itself, kind of using it to block people's path and direct them. And he's like, what can I do for you?
What is Gerard shouting about? What's going on?
Sure, you must be one of his retinue, yeah. 3 dead in the street, 3 of our guard. Some cloaked bastard threw daggers at their necks. Ugly business. Last we heard, it's heading north.
Where did this happen?
Just over there, by the bridge. He kind of gestures behind himself. Right now you're on the other side of the stream, but there's a bridge in 2 places that crosses it. So
I'm basically going to either walk right by him or wherever he was referencing and just go over there and immediately start looking for tracks from this cloaked figure.
Okay.
And I want to actually use Gifted Tracker.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hold that roll for a second. Ox.
I'm sticking with Kai. I'm sticking with Kai, and right. It looks like he knows where he's going. So
sounds good.
I don't know if it mattered.
Go ahead.
I'm with the bodies right now. I guess I'm gonna investigate them, see what they got hit with, and see if I can see anything else at the scene.
If Gerard's over there, I'm gonna actually go over and ask him, say, what did you see, and where did this cloaked guy go? Look, and then using his reference to try to find the tracks to track him.
So Gerard, you're kind of standing over the bodies, kind of looking at them as you see. If you look over to your left a little bit, you see Ox's giant hulking frame crossing the one bridge of the stream. It creaks under his weight a little bit, and Kai's kind of just ambling in front of him.
Ox, are Nero and Ripley up as well?
Yeah, they flew off that direction. I pointed to my
direction. As you asked that question, I would like to fly directly in front of your face with Ripley on my back somehow.
Cowabunga!
As the owl drifts past in front of you and you hear Ripley yell Cowabunga, we're going to pick up next time and see how this turns out, because it's going to be hilarious.
We walked outside and I was like, I have to do this.
This is going to be great.
Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to check out our website at deadsunsco.com for the latest news and social links. If you like our content, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/deadsunscompany.